Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and I wanted to make a dedicated video about what's been going on today with the Jets wide receiver room, because a lot has happened all of a sudden. So at first, we bring in Mecole Hardman on a one-year deal worth up to $6.5 million, and then shortly after that, the New York Jets trade away Elijah Moore to the Cleveland Browns. And we sacrifice Elijah Moore in our third-round pick this year, and we get back the Browns' second-round pick, which is pick overall 42. And then we get news from Connor Hughes, and this is something I was assuming on my live stream, that this puts the Jets in position to land Odell Beckham Jr. in free agency. It's not guaranteed, but Aaron Rodgers is being very adamant about bringing OBJ to the New York Jets. So if you see Connor Hughes' tweets right here from SNY, he says, sources, Jets' interest in OBJ described to me as very real. He and Aaron Rodgers are close and has discussed playing together in New York. Basically, Rodgers wants OBJ. With Elijah Moore gone, the opening is there. And then his next tweet was, nothing is imminent with OBJ, Jets, but Rodgers has a desire to play with him. The interest is mutual. Just about finding a number that works for a special receiver, but one with some injury concerns. So this definitely is going to be really interesting to figure out where the Jets go, because now there is a hole to fill at the wide receiver position. This is how I'm looking at it. With the hypothetical scenario that Corey Davis is on his way out in the Aaron Rodgers trade, Allen Lazard, he's replacing Corey Davis. Mecole Hardman, he's replacing Braxton Berrios, who, by the way, is a big upgrade. Elijah Moore could be replaced by Odell Beckham Jr. And if it's not OBJ, it could be somebody in the draft or somebody else in free agency. We will find out. I really love this signing of Mecole Hardman. Let's talk about him just for a little bit, because I think that adding a speedy receiver like him to be able to take the top off the defense, he averages the most YAC, which is yards after the catch, in the league behind Deebo Samuel since entering the NFL. I mean, we're talking about a speed burner. Every time the ball's in this man's hands, he has an ability to take it to the house. And with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers to get him the ball in time, in rhythm, with space, with room to run, that is a big-time signing by the New York Jets. He's a gadget-style receiver that can do a lot more things, and I think that the Jets' offense with Nathaniel Hackett is going to open up his game. Not to mention that he can also be our punt returner and our kick returner. So Mecole Hardman, welcome to the New York Jets. I think that is a great signing by them. Now, talking about trading away Elijah Moore. My overall stance on this, as you guys know, I'm a big Elijah Moore fan. I've always been that way, and I've said on previous videos and streams that I don't see the Jets trading him. And I can admit to you guys that I was wrong, and the Jets traded him, obviously, today. Now, I think the reason why they traded him was more about the New York Jets and Elijah Moore just not being on the same page. And I think Elijah Moore, when he requested his trade, it rubbed the Jets organization the wrong way. The Jets don't want to keep someone on their roster that they feel like could be a distraction, because remember what Elijah Moore did. The Jets were on a damn winning streak. The vibes were high in the locker room. The vibes were through the roof for the New York Jets. And he goes out there and he requests a trade because he wasn't getting the ball. That does not sit well with the coaching staff. It does not sit well with the front office. But at the time, the Jets did not want to trade him, because at that time, during the season that we wanted to make a playoff run, they felt like he was valuable enough where we are going to keep Elijah Moore. Now you fast forward to today, I bet you the New York Jets have a plan. They are not trading away Elijah Moore if they do not have a plan to replace him with somebody else. Mecole Hardman could be a good replacement for Elijah Moore for sure, but I definitely do not think that they're done adding to this wide receiver position. And if you want to talk about the trade compensation that we got back really quick, giving up a third-round pick and Elijah Moore for that second-round pick, I honestly felt like we could have got a little more value out of Elijah Moore, but if you look at his stats and look at his production over his potential, that's what NFL GMs are weighing when you look at trades. And Joe Douglas to move up in that draft to get that 42nd overall pick, now we have pick 42 and 43. Hey, maybe that helps out the Aaron Rodgers trade for all we know. And then just pivoting to OBJ real quick to finish off the video, guys. Very polarizing topic, because I know that a lot of you guys don't want nothing to do with Odell Beckham Jr. Some of you guys want OBJ. Now, this is the thing about OBJ. If he's available, he's a great player. He's a sensational talent, one of the better receivers of the generation, was unfortunately halted by injuries. If he never got injured, he would be a very good player still to this day. But he's coming off an ACL, and he goes out there and has his private workout. He's looking for $15 to $20 million. Well, we all know that's not happening, OBJ. if the price is right, and now with Elijah Moore gone, guys, I personally feel like it would make sense for Odell Beckham Jr. to come to the New York Jets, especially to give us more flexibility in the NFL draft and not feel like we have to go out there and get a receiver. We can get our offensive tackle, offensive lineman in the first round. Even though I'm still on the train of, if we don't get OBJ, JSN reuniting with Garrett Wilson would be a fun thing to do. But that's what the offseason's about. It brings to light all these discussions that we can have, all the debates in the comment section on Twitter, on Instagram, or wherever you guys are on the Jets takes, because that's what the offseason's about, man. We get to voice our opinions, and you guys get to voice your opinions in the comments. Let me know. There's a lot of things to talk about in the video. Mecole Hardman, how do you feel about that signing? Elijah Moore being traded, how do you feel about that? Do you want OBJ on the New York Jets? Now that is an interesting conversation that we must have together in the comment section down below. Now, before we end off the video, let's just talk about this receiver room as a whole, how it looks on paper. Corey Davis is still here. Denzel Mims is still here. Garrett Wilson's the number one guy. We bring in Allen Lazard, right? You add Mecole Hardman. Okay, there's still a hole there. There is still a hole to be filled, and I think that we still need to add depth and another starting receiver, because I really don't see Corey Davis on this team this year unless the Jets really feel like they have 1 year left with him. They think that he'll be good with Aaron Rodgers. We know what Corey Davis brings to the table. He's a solid receiver that is injury prone, that is a reliable guy that will make you big plays, that comes with the frequent drops. But I think that with this $10 million of cap relief would help out this Jets team, financially speaking, to allocate throughout the rest of the roster. So I believe the reason why the Jets have not moved on from Corey Davis yet is because he's going to be included eventually in that Aaron Rodgers trade. That's my assumption. I could be wrong, of course. Denzel Mims, I don't think Jets fans can be confident in Denzel Mims to be a starting receiver this year. I like him as depth behind Allen Lazard in case he goes down, absolutely. But I don't think Denzel Mims has proved anything that he could be a starter anytime soon, unfortunately. I wish I could say with a straight face I think Denzel could be a starter, but he simply hasn't proved it just yet. And then Garrett Wilson, what more can we say about him? He's the number one receiver on this team, coming off 1,100 yards, 83 catches, 4 touchdowns, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Imagine what he can do with Aaron Rodgers. It would be special. But now if you add OBJ with Mecole Hardman to this offense, with the addition of Allen Lazard, we're talking about a completely revamped wide receivers for Aaron Rodgers. And then one guy I just have to bring up because his name's been floating around is Randall Cobb. Just because of the Aaron Rodgers connection, I would be okay with not getting Randall Cobb and drafting somebody instead late in the draft or early to replace that, Jeff Smith style receiver who we lost to the New York Giants, by the way, a special teams guy that can, be that wide receiver 6, wide receiver 5 role just to provide depth and come in if we need him to. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts of the current state of the wide receiver position for the New York Jets. A lot of moving parts are going on right now, so let me know your thoughts down below of the Jets wide receiver room, and hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Really do appreciate that big time, and I'll catch you next time. Let's go Jets! Peace out!